Hey friends, Johnny here, he, him. I'm so glad that we're worshiping together. I'm so glad you're here at our at-home Sunday meeting. We're trying to build a community together, even on the internet, and you're going to make that happen right now. You're a part of who we are. And right now we're here to gather to worship Jesus and to give thanks with one another, to connect with one another. So enter into this time as you can. A few ways you can do that is let us know who you are. Go in the live chat right now, say who you are, where you're coming from. Like I'd write, I'm Johnny Rashid, I'm coming from Fishtown, Pennsylvania. You could just say the same thing, and then we maybe not from Fishtown if you're not from Fishtown, but you could tell us where you're coming from so that we have that sense of community. Then also, sign in. We want to know that you're here. Obviously, it's hard to see that you're here, so if you sign in, we can know that you're here. So right now, what you can do to participate in this meeting is write down your name, tell us where you're coming from, and then sign in so that we know that you were here. We want to create a welcoming environment for you, and that's one way that we can do that. And my friends, Nathan and Danny, are hosts tonight. They're going to keep making that welcoming environment for you, and they're about to introduce themselves right now.
Hello, I'm Nathan. I'll be one of your hosts for this week's at-home Sunday meeting.
Hi, I am Danny Morseberger. I am coming to you from Southern Maryland, and I'm a member of Circle of Hope, and I will be one of your hosts for tonight. I'm excited to see you guys in the after hang.
Thanks, Nathan. Thanks, Danny. We're about to enter into an extended time of worship. Worship is about adoring Jesus and adoring God together, and I hope that you can enter into the time as you're able. It can be hard to worship, period, in any setting, but it can also be hard to worship online. And I want to just honor that difficulty and let you know that I feel it too. And some of the ways that helps me get into the worship is by singing out loud wherever I am, writing down a praise, closing my eyes, trying to make a connection. So those are ways I'm using my body and my mind and my heart to connect to the worship. Maybe those are some strategies you can try too as you enter in here to try to experience God with us. I know that God is here and God is present here with me and also with you wherever you are. Look for God. And also, this whole time, if you feel like you can't do it right now, I want to encourage you that there is an opportunity for you to start something new and to do something different, that who you are yesterday doesn't have to be who you are today. You can change and grow and begin again, as we've been saying, because we're all learning we can't do things the way that we did them before. This new life that we have as we're emerging out of this pandemic to some extent really just requires a new way of doing things. This Sunday meeting is an example of that. We don't have an option to go back to what it was. It's something new. We begin again. And there's freedom in doing that. It's an opportunity to be new with Jesus. So fix your eyes on the Lord, and we'll notice some new things, new paths that we can do together. Trust God, and God will get us through all the difficulty that we have. So Joanna's going to start us off. She has a meditation about plants and critters that eat them, and then we'll enter into worship. And then my sister Julie will offer a message to you, and then you'll have a chance during the second half of this meeting. We call it it's the after hang on Zoom, so that's a live thing that you can just sign into. We'll have some time to talk back to what Julie said. So a lot's going on here, a lot of opportunities to connect, and I pray that you can. So here's the team. They're going to lead us to worship.
The first thing I want you to do is take whatever mobile device you're not using to watch this, turn it off or select Do Not Disturb mode, and place it out of arm's reach so that it can't distract your focus. Now I want you to find a relaxing posture. For some that's sitting down, for some that's laying down. Find your comfortable posture. This song is very simple. It's 3 lines. I will sing the first line, and then you will sing it back to me. Then I will sing the second line, and you'll do the same, singing it back. The third line we'll sing together. It goes like this. Help me to be still and know that you are God. That'll be the way that we end the chorus together. Follow along. I'll lead you. Help me to be still. Be still and know. Help me to be still and know that you are God. Help me to be still. Be still and know. Help me to be still and know that you are God.
We had wanted to add some color to the end of our driveway, and over the past few weeks, I had landed on a few plants that would do the trick. This past weekend, we were finally ready to install a couple planter boxes. Leveling out the hill, building a makeshift retaining wall, pouring perlite and soil, we did it all. Finally, I was ready to make use of the boxes. Mums and bearded iris were the order of the day. After situating each plant in their new home and watering the new soil thoroughly, I brushed the excess from my hands. I spent more than a few moments throughout the afternoon and evening admiring our work, excited for what beautiful things were sure to come. Arriving at the kitchen for Monday's routine, I stepped outside and peered off the back porch to observe the new additions in the morning light. To my surprise, the new soil had been turned. The iris were pulled from their homes, mums had been munched, no doubt a late-night snack raid by one or more of the furry friends who also call our yard home. Deer? Squirrels? Rabbits? Groundhogs? They've all been seen perusing our hillside at one time or another. What to do? Begin again, again. I'm replanting the boxes. The beautiful potential of these plants demands that I don't give up after a strike. This time, the work is different. This time, no construction. No ground leveling or wall erecting, no online orders for carefully selected irises. No, this time the work is attending to new needs. This time, the work is returning the plants to a habitat that best nurtures their growth. This time, the work is setting things in place that ward off attacks. I'm addressing concerns that were only seen after the journey began. Our efforts will be thwarted, our hopes upturned and dashed by any number of things which may be attributed to life. These are the moments where the real work begins, where we determine to continue on, even if that means starting over.
This song is about connectedness, about how we are connected to each other and about how we are all connected to Jesus. So you can see the first two lines are from Jesus' perspective, they're his words, and then the second two lines are written from our perspective. And we're going to sing it like that, lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll sing it, and maybe that's different from the way you've done it before, but we're just going to go straight through like that. And then we'll do it maybe twice to learn it, and then after that I'm going to say, okay, now it's time for the round. And all a round is just half the people wait. In this case, we're going to wait 2 lines to start singing. And so I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to keep on singing. But half of us will wait. And so you can follow me or follow one of them or whatever you want to do from the comfort of your own home. It's fine. You can sit in prayerful attentiveness, or you can receive it however you want, these parting words. But I hope and pray that you feel connected during this time. But apart from you, we can do nothing. Remain in me, remain in me. For I am the vine, you are the branches. Oh, and we will bear very good fruit. But apart from you, we can do nothing. Okay, now it's time for the round. Remain in me, remain in me. For I am the vine, you are the branches.
Remain
Oh, and we together now. Oh, and we will bear very good fruit. But apart from you, we can do nothing.
Out of the depths we've cried for you, oh Lord. Hear our voice. Let your ears be turned to us. Hear our cry for mercy. Out of the depths we've cried for you, oh Lord. Hear our voice. Let your ears be turned to us. Hear our cry for mercy. We wait for you more than the watchman. the watchman waits for the morning.
With the start of the school year, again, Philadelphia students are back to school in person after being virtual for a long time. And as a parent, I have had to remember what it is like to begin again. Even though we've been through plenty of first days of school before, it's still new. We're still starting over. The nerves, the newness, the time that it takes to make a new routine, to build relationships, to figure out the expectations, and all this plus masking and social distancing and illness. It's a lot. Whether you're a teacher or a student or not, we're all starting over. We're beginning again. That's just where we're at in this pandemic. And so we're looking to Jesus to show us how to do that. All throughout his ministry, Jesus was starting again, starting something new and inviting people into that. So he's going to show us how to do this, and we're going to follow. The first chapter in the book of Mark is kind of like a first day for Jesus. He is beginning his public ministry. He had been baptized by his cousin John and then spent a long time in the wilderness in prayer, and then returns to call his first disciples to follow him, Simon, Andrew, and James. They went together to Capernaum, a small town along the Sea of Galilee, and listen to this first busy day on the job. Jesus begins at the synagogue. He got up and he taught the people, and it created quite a stir because they were amazed at his teaching and his authority, which was different than the other teachers of the law. And then in the midst of his captivating teaching, a demon-possessed man interrupted him. Jesus called out the evil spirit, healed the man, finished teaching, and then went straight to meet the family of two of his new disciples. They were at Simon and Andrew's home, just getting to know each other, and Jesus heals Simon's mother-in-law, who was there sick in bed. She got up and hosted them until after the sun went down, and then the whole town began arriving at the door, bringing the sick and the demon-possessed for Jesus to heal them. And Jesus healed them well into the night. So after all that, I'm guessing that the household was exhausted. I'm guessing Jesus was spent, and this is what he did. This is how he began the next day. In Mark 1:35 through 39 says, "Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Simon and his companions went to look for him, and when they found him, they exclaimed, 'Everyone is looking for you.' Jesus replied, 'Let us go somewhere else, to the nearby villages, so that I can preach there also. That is why I have come.' So they traveled throughout Galilee, preaching in their synagogues and driving out demons." After this very busy day, after he had just gotten started in his public ministry, Jesus began again in a solitary place with God. We don't know what he prayed or how he prayed, but right away we see the fruit of it, of that time in prayer, because he acted out of that connection with God in clarity, because he tells the disciples, "Let us go somewhere else so that I can preach there also. That is why I have come." It was very clear to him. Word had already gotten out, and people were looking for Jesus, but he knew that he had to keep moving. This is why I've come, so that more people would know. His clarity about spreading the good news of God was bigger than people's expectations of him. He held on to God's purpose for him in the face of the needs and demands in front of him. Those everyone's looking for you expectations are enough to fill up our days and our hearts often. Time in prayer with God is essential to developing and holding on to what your part in God's work is. What about you, who you are, what you do, where you go, who you relate to is your part of revealing why Jesus came. Every day we begin again. Connection with God will help us to live out of that place and not just fulfill all the expectations on your time and attention. So go somewhere with God to pray. It doesn't have to be in the morning. It doesn't have to be in a solitary place. It doesn't have to look like Jesus' prayer here. It can, but we don't even know anything about what he prayed or how he prayed. It could have been with words. It could have been in silence. But the idea that he went to be with God indicates his whole being. He left the house. So engage your body. If you can't physically step away from your surroundings, you could leave the distractions like Nathan was leading us to do earlier tonight. Even with the demands and the expectations and the real need all around him, Jesus had a clear sense of his mission. It wasn't to heal everyone in that moment. He was on the move. He was spreading the good news of the kingdom of God had come near. That had a bigger implications than just immediate needs. If someone like Mark were writing a story about your busy week, where do you begin again? Where do you want to? For Jesus, it was very early in the morning, while it was still dark, after a very busy day. He left the house and went off to a solitary place to pray. I recently had the privilege of going with World Vision on a retreat for pastors in Utah. It was 3 days, and this experience afforded me a lot of space to literally get out of the house and to pray. I want to share one story with you from that time. Where we were staying was nestled in the mountains in this breathtaking view of the Rockies all around us. I really wanted to climb the mountain, but I knew I was not in good shape and I was not acclimated to the elevation. And the lowest peak near us was 11,000 feet. I talked myself out of it the first day and the second day, but the third day, 2 others agreed to go with me. So we went. And it was beautiful and exciting and very challenging all at the same time. While we were hiking for hours, I told them about the one other time that I had hiked a mountain in the Rockies. It was Pikes Peak in Colorado years ago. And when we had gotten above the tree line on that hike, the tree line is the point at which the trees stop being able to grow because of the environmental conditions of being up so high. A thunderstorm moved in. We could see it at eye level coming straight at us. The lightning was shooting down to the ground below, and it was terrifying because at that point we were the tallest thing on the mountain, and we knew we had to get above the storm quickly. But I couldn't go any faster. I was at my limit, and physically, mentally, emotionally. But we did make it to the top, and I lived to tell about it, obviously. Anyway, so I was sharing this story, and not long after I recounted this experience, we came out onto the peak of the range, so that we could see down the mountain on either side of us. We were literally on the tip of the mountain, but we had a ways to go to get to the tram car at the very top. And the same thing happened. A huge storm rolled in out of nowhere. We watched the lightning shooting down. The thunder was cracking like all around us. The cold rain was blowing so hard it was stinging my skin. And at one point we had to get down off the trail and scramble along the side because the wind gusts were so strong we were afraid we were going to get knocked over. It was one of the most challenging things I've done. As we reached the final stretch to the top, we were kind of like right under the tram. A woman at the top who had gotten off yells down to me, "Are you okay?" And all I could do was shake my head, no. So she scrambled down that steep gravel and met me halfway. She wrapped her arm around my waist and tucked my arm in hers and shuffled with me to the top. I had to keep stopping every couple of feet, and she matched my labored breathing and helped me steady my rhythm. And the whole time she kept talking to me saying, "You're gonna make it. I won't leave you alone." And when we finally reached the top, I wept out of relief and gratitude and exhaustion. And as I'm crying, I felt this wave of humiliation just come over me. It was so pitifully evident that I had committed myself to something that was so far beyond my capacity, that I had put myself and the others at risk. I could barely lift my eyes to make eye contact with her for the first time. But as I looked up, she was beaming at me. "You did it. We made it. Catch your breath. Take a drink. The others are here." She just kept assuring me and celebrating. I'm sure that without her, I would have eventually made it to the top. But her presence transformed that whole experience. When she wrapped her arms around me, my fear subsided. As my body got in sync with hers, my frantic gasping steadied. And then in the face of her joy, my humiliation was washed away. Her presence with me for that last 20 minutes on the mountain brings me back to this idea of beginning again. We don't have to wait until we are utterly depleted to give that head nod to say, "I'm not okay," to indicate that we need help. From the beginning of his ministry, even Jesus spent time with God regularly in prayer, even after that first busy day. It was not too soon to go out to the mountain and pray and begin again. He tended to that connection with God so that he could act, not out of his own capacity, but out of the confidence and clarity of knowing why he had come. And that sustained him on an uphill climb to the end. So may you be sustained by a connection with God in prayer too.
I want to end our meeting by telling you some ways that you can expand this meeting and make it bigger and connect to other people. we're not very concerned with how successful we are, but we do want people to be blessed by what we're doing. So if you loved what you saw, or even liked it, you can like the video, you can subscribe to our channel. Liking the video helps more people see it on YouTube, and subscriptions help us get more YouTube features to help make this meeting better. Also, share this video on social media if that's the thing that you do, or email it to a friend, or imagine who might connect with Circle of Hope in this way that you know, and try to make a relationship with them, because more than just being online and hoping that this video goes viral or the algorithms bless us, we really are working on a heart-to-heart, person-to-person, spirit-to-spirit connection. So your relationship with someone is the most meaningful way that you can share this. And you can also share in our common fund. Go to circleofhope.church and share money with us. That helps this meeting go. It helps our podcast go, Resist and Restore. It helps our whole church go, but it also helps us go because it changes how we relate to money when we're generous with it. So go to circleofhope.church to do that. So like, subscribe, share, and share money with us. And while you're on our website, circleofhope.church, go to our cells section, and you can find a circle of 10 to connect intimately with one another with this basic idea in mind. We get to know one another in order to get to know God. So our relationships are a miracle where God is present. And as we develop them and get more intimate with one another and include more people, we get closer to God as well. So those are some ways that you can connect with our meeting and connect other people to it too. I'm so glad that we're worshiping together. And once again, we have an after hang after this, so be sure to look. The hosts are going to give you a link to it. You can click it, and then you can continue to have dialogue with us. So once again, I am blessed by your presence, and I want to bless you right now. I hope that you feel the presence of God with you this week, and I hope that you feel nourished and that you can move with the Spirit and begin again. You are a blessing to us, and I hope we were a blessing to you. So go in peace.